So here's the inner frame of the Master Grade Aegis. I have to say, what a very, very well detailed kit, especially in its inner frame mode. I've never seen so many intricate detailed parts of the inner frame, I think, since Death's Like Hell. And even though this is pretty much, I think, the same height range as Death's Sight, I said Death's Like Hell, excuse me, but I think it's the same height range. It is, of course, broader and wider. The internal the internal torso has two of these parts here that sticks out, which of course represents the portion of the part of the kit when it transforms into the mobile armored mode. So there's a lot of intricate details in here, of course here and here, which the legs will bend pretty good. Here's the bending of the legs. These these waist armor parts. It's actually two parts in one, but these things pop out pretty well because it's held by pressure, by some sort of pressure point here, which I'm assuming that with the armored parts, when put on, it will hold on nice and snug. And of course, it'll be a lot more nice and snug once this kit is painted internally. Another thing, of course, that I could not do would be the fact that I couldn't put on the feet. The feet is, you see here, is the ball joints, and the actual foot itself, the foot assembly, looks like this because there's another part. This part right here, which is the part where it connects this part to the foot. It has to have two of the armored parts, the pinkish salmon parts, to hold on to this, to connect to this, to then connect to this. I could have easily demonstrated and put them on, but I kind of run the risk of me prying off two parts off the the armor and doing more damage than good. So I opted out not to do that, just so I can show you this. It's kind of really cool. I kind of like the frame and things like that. There is more parts to this kit, of course, especially here, where the actual two, as a matter of fact, let me just get the manual and point it out to you guys. The waist parts itself, there we go. Actually, we'll use this as a point of reference right here. So, this part here represents the support or the hold on the two side skirt wings. Here are the armored parts of the waist, of the skirt armor that goes here. There's one part here that will support the actual crotch armor. Then you have a lot of parts here that represents the chest armor. And of course, the actual waist unit will be exposed, so this will be heavily painted and detailed, so that way it shows off. Quite frankly, the parts that I have to focus on for painting or for exposure would be, and let's see if I can do this all without the whole thing flying off. Let's see here. Alright, so we'll have this exposed. This part exposed. This one partly exposed, but it's only from the bottom because that will be covered by the armor. Portion of the elbow, which had to be sanded down nice and neat so that way it shows off pretty well once it's painted. Around the waist area, definitely. The joints of the legs, of the waist and the legs. The trim parts around here and here. And if we go to the back, same thing around here and here. The top part there. I already mentioned this. I can barely see, but I think there's some parts here that will be exposed, especially around here and this part here. This needs to be sanded down a bit, so that way I can show it off. So this is by far going to, I think, a good 20%, maybe 25% of the gray parts will be exposed during the initial painting. Some parts I'm going to remove, of course, resand down again. So that's pretty much the whole gist of this. Now there's a lot of leftover parts, which now I got to sort out. Some parts, of course, that you see here has to be omitted. Specifically, something like this, because I don't think it's in the build, but I'm going to review all the parts again. Definitely these parts right here. Let me show you. This part here, which is probably part of a joint someplace around either the arms or legs. Again, probably from the other kits. They'll not be thrown away. They'll be put to the side. Maybe one day I'll create a Frankenstein suit. Here's one of the flap armor parts that I think was part of the shoulders for one of the other mobile suits. One of the hands needs to be, of course, painted. This part is, of course, necessary, and this one here. So again, I'm going to review, put a lot of parts in trees, and put a lot of parts not to be painted away. So that way it eliminates my need to take up a lot of clutter. Alright, so far so good with this kit. It's now time for me to start priming Master Grade Aegis. Okay, as you can see, all the red parts of the Aegis has been primed. And I am carefully reviewing each and every red part to make sure that it's okay. Some parts I give it a light pass, considering the fact that it's going to be recovered with red, so I'm going to have to go crazy over it. Of course, giving it the light pass, I also realized that even though I had a full bottle of primer, I was running out. I probably had no, let me correct that. I didn't have a full bottle of primer. I would probably say I think I had about 60% of primer, and I used the remaining 60% on all these red parts, even though I still have a good amount of red parts here to prime. So I just recently came back from the hobby store and picked up more primer. Yeah, that came out okay. So right now I'm going to, once I finish reviewing these, I'm going to, I can't take them off the trees yet, but once I finish reviewing them, I'm going to put it on one of my trays, so that way I know that it's done. Redo the other ones that I haven't finished. Yeah, this came out okay. And then prepare for the painting. I'm going to do the reds first. This is probably going to take up the most amount of my time. And then from there I will work on the blue, and then the yellow, the white. And I just realized something, that maybe I don't need to prime the charcoal parts. I got them on their trays and stuff like that, but since it's going to be all internal and only the exposed parts are going to be showing, I think the best thing to do is just paint them over, you know, gunmetal. No reason for me to prime it. I've done it before, and I've had a great amount of success with that. So no reason for me to prime the charcoal parts, except for some specific parts, mainly the beam cannon and some other things that I may have to do a quick review. Then from there I will of course assemble it, but I just realized something that I think I'm at a perfect opportunity to do something a little unique, something that I've been thinking about for quite some time. This has been a suggestion has been brought to me many times during the course of my builds, and one thing that many people ask me to do is, why don't I pre-shade my kit or kits? Over here I have, and I thought I have it in front of me, but I guess I don't have it anymore. I had a bottle. Where are you? thought I had you here a second ago. I had a bottle of Mr. Hobby's Black. Here she is. Number 2, Black. So I'm thinking, why don't I... Well, maybe this is something that you guys can help me out here, because I've seen the techniques before, but I've seen it only on large scale or large body type of parts. Let me explain the scenario. So what I'm thinking is, maybe I airbrush every part that you see here black, then airbrush it again the red, or the shine red, but airbrush it in such a light coat that it will bleed out the black through the edges. Perfect example, we'll use this as an example. Pre-shading, of course, of this in black, and maybe I should, yeah. Okay, good. So I paint the whole thing black, and then repaint it again, light coat, of course, with red, of course showing off the detail lines and features of this part. Now, pre-shading, of course, is a technique that can be done with an airbrush. My problem is my airbrush does not have, I guess I have to learn about control, pressure, and making sure that I can do fine lines. I've seen military aircraft, a lot of people doing like fine lines along the edges and then do spray painting of the lighter color over it, so it shows off like some sort of line art type stuff. But this one, I'm thinking of doing that. Painting it black first, and then painting it shine red. What do you think of that?